Hey y'all, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Bodice Tipplers,
the podcast where we read all the books we used to steal off our grandmother's nightstands.
And then we drink about it. On today's episode of Bodice Tipplers, we present a very special film fuck it episode. So I got snowed into the mountains of North Carolina.
My kid got lice.
We both thought we had COVID for a hot minute.
So we did not get a second book read this month.
So what we did was what every classic American high schooler has done.
We watched the movie.
Yes. So this episode, we are going to talk about the movie version of Morning Glory by LaVyrle Spencer. We do have a couple of trigger warnings.
Yeah. So the movie is actually very faithful to the book. So we highly recommend you listen to our episode. Like the book, it has like these very finely drawn, compassionate characters of everybody in the book or movie, except for Lulu, the town bicycle. So there's like this horrible slut-shaming business. There's also a sex worker who has been murdered in the past.
But nobody cares.
Nobody cares. She's a sex worker. So it's got that element. This also adds something that I don't remember being in the book, which was this long, drawn-out, terrible courtroom scene where a woman who has nothing to do with this murder trial, except that it's her husband on trial, gets raked over the coals about her sexual experiences with her dead husband by the attorney. And nobody in 1945 Georgia is like, oh, we're going to eat this attorney for lunch. Like,
yeah, they kept asking her about her sex life with her dead husband and her now alive husband. It was very deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, and they keep questioning her, like, are you sure that you could satisfy both your dead or your alive husband? Is your vagina really up to this task?
You just had a baby.
And the judge is like, sustained. Like, what?
Yeah, I was waiting for like a Law and Order, like, watch yourself, McCoy kind of thing. No.
So that you may actually find legitimately troubling. And the evil slutty woman also gets murdered, and nobody cares except that they think that the hero did it. I mean, like, nobody cares that she's dead.
No.
And in this, I don't remember this in the book either, as she did die as the horrible townie was trying to rape her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it adds some elements that are a problem that are not in the book.
Yes,
so FYI, we, however, are not going to put anybody on the stand. We have never murdered any sex workers or any just people who like to have sex. I've never murdered anybody myself.
I'm not going to answer that.
I noticed that Courtney kind of like shook her eyes away from me.
Anyway, so this film came out in 1993.
I assumed it was a made-for-TV movie, but it is not.
No, it's a very good assumption. It stars Christopher Reeve, everybody's favorite Superman, and Deborah Raffin. Fun fact, Deborah Raffin is not only the actress, she's also one of the screenwriters for the film.
And when I read that, I have to say that I assumed that it was not going to be good.
No,
I was completely, I'm sorry, Deborah Raffin. I really am.
Yes. So it was yeah. So all right, let's get into it. Let's talk this movie.
Okay, so we are not going to like go through the exact plot like over again because it is very faithful to Morning Glory, the book. So I liked the book a lot. I was really surprised to like the book because of the cover, I guess. Because I guess of her name, I always assumed that LaVyrle Spencer wrote for grandmas.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and but Beverly Jenkins told us to read her.
Yes,
and she was, of course, correct.
Of course,
because it was fantastic. It was really good, and so the movie is actually extremely faithful to the book. You should know, though, going into this movie, that it made $26,000 worldwide. Like, not $260,000. And before you start to think, oh, well, like, what was that in $1993? Like a pack of potatoes and a pig? In today's dollars, according to, like, the inflation calculator, that's $55,000. That will not buy you a house anywhere.
Amazing.
It will buy you, like, the base level Silverado, but, like, nobody buys a base level Silverado. It's like that.
So, yeah, like 90s, like less 30-second plot summation. You got a lady who lives up in the hills outside of the town of Whitney, Georgia.
Whitney, Canada. You can tell.
Her husband is dead. She's got this rundown farm. She's got 3 boys, and then she's got another kid on the way.
It's 2 boys and she's pregnant.
Yeah, whatever. So she puts an ad in the newspaper for a husband. Christopher Reeve is walking through town. He's kind of a drifter. He's been in jail. He's looking for something solid. He comes. They meet each other. He lives in the barn for a while. There's some bees. And then they decide that, they will get married. And then, like Sarah said, the lady who wears red lipstick in the town and appreciates her own body gets murdered. They think that Christopher Reeve did it. There's an old lady librarian. There's a courtroom. And his wife, who was a recluse, comes out of her, Hill House and, solves the case, and they live happily ever after. So we can now talk about the movie.
Yes. So, the movie is really interestingly adapted, honestly. I was shocked that this was made this way, honestly, because it is so slow. Like, and I mean that, okay, I have a really hard time ever telling if a movie is good if I've read the book, because I can't see the movie at all through fresh eyes. And I really like this book. So to me, the slow pace was great because it is that slow in the book, because it's these people who are seriously like traumatized people, like learning to trust each other and coming into this genuine relationship with each other. I can't imagine watching this in a movie theater or, on like, TBN or whatever. Was that one? TBN?
I don't know. This does feel
like the Chicago one.
That's WJZY.
No. It had a 3. Anyway.
No, it was WJZY.
It wasn't said that on my TV.
Oh, well, it was WJZY out of Chicago. Because that's the one that gave you the good Goonies. That gave you the uncut Goonies with the octopus fight, where Jada fights the octopus.
Well, now you've made me doubt everything, so I'm not sure. But at any rate, it would be very strange to watch this movie. And so I watched it with commercials because I watched it for free on Tubi. It's one of those movies.
Tubi is the greatest. Everybody has been sleeping on Tubi. And let me just tell you, when I was snowed in, during my harrowing experience being snowed in the mountains at a luxury home.
This is your first episode. We're from South Carolina.
No, here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, you're snowed in. Like, there was a quarter mile of, like, gravel road. We were
When I've rented cabins up in the mountains, I've always wondered, like, what happens in the winter?
So, I lived the romance trope, but I was stuck with my best friend. And, it was great. It was amazing because, like, nobody could bother me, literally. Anyway, we watched so many great TV movies. Let me tell you about one gem. And I'm going to request our intern make me a t-shirt for this movie. This movie was called Dead Heat. And it stars...
I feel like I've seen that.
It stars Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo. And they're cops. And the premise is that they bust this lab that is making zombies. And Treat Williams is killed.
Yes, I've seen this movie.
And he gets zombified. And then Joe Piscopo...
I think I saw this movie on the last drive-in with Joe Bob.
Yeah. And then Joe Piscopo...
Yes.
gets zombified. And it ends with them cracking wise as they decompose and they go to heaven.
Yes. I have seen this movie.
Amazing. So, Tubi... aces.
Well, you can also, if you don't want commercials, you can watch it for $2.99 for a rental on Amazon. So I'm watching it with commercials in this way, and the fact that it's brought up, short with commercials, just kind of like accentuated the fact that this is a deliberately very slow paced film, which I liked a lot because it's only 90 minutes, and this was was it a 400-page book? It was not a Harlequin, okay?
You know what else I love about Tubi?
What else do you love about Tubi?
Tubi don't care where they're going to put the commercials.
Oh, no.
There is no artful cutting of we're going to put a commercial.
They do warn you, though. They give you a countdown, which Paramount Plus does not do. We've been watching Star Trek Voyager, and obviously Paramount Plus fucking hates Star Trek Voyager. So do we. But they will put up a commercial 5 seconds before the actual commercial break. So it will come back, and then they'll be like where the commercial actually went.
Tubi's
better than that.
So anyway, I keep... interrupting your slow pace.
That's fine. Yes, it's slow paced. But what they did, so what happens in the book is that it's quite slow paced, and then World War II happens, and so he ships out, he becomes a Marine, there's all this stuff, and what the movie very wisely does, it looks around, it's like, we got 90 fucking minutes, let's just cut the war.
Say slow paced again.
Slow paced.
Okay.
Slow paced.
Yeah, for me, I think that the movie actually made me like the book better because one of the things that, I really enjoyed the book, but I enjoyed the actress that played Ellie very much.
I did too.
She was super sassy. I felt like she was sassier than book Ellie was.
But she also had that like brittleness, like that. Oh yeah, I could totally believe her trauma in the book, and I'd never heard of her before. Did you know this woman?
No, Deborah Raffin.
Yeah, I thought she was great in this, and I guess it must have been a passion project for her.
Yeah,
she wrote it or wrote part of it, but I thought she was just. I could buy her as the person that the townies didn't get, who was very much her own person, but who lived with this giant trauma in her heart the whole time. Now, I thought she was fantastic. I'm not sure if I had not read the book, if I would have thought that Christopher Reeve was what he was doing. But the character in the book is this very also closed off person who has been in prison for 5 years, like not one of those cushy fucking prisons, So, I mean, there's this great scene at the beginning where he comes in for the first time and says, hey, I'm here about the ad and all. And she's like, well, you might as well wash up. And he looks at the hot water in the basin like it's, the face of God or whatever. But she gets what his thing is. She's like, how long has it been since you've seen hot water? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought I liked it a lot. I liked all that really, really well, which is good because that was most of the movie is them kind of awkwardly like walking into rooms.
Yes. So Deborah Raffin, I'm back on Deborah Raffin, was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress and a Razzie Award for Worst Actress for her performance in Touched by Love in 1981. We're going to Touched by Love. Touched by Love is also called To Elvis with Love. It's a 1981 drama that starred Diane Lane and Deborah Raffin, and it concerns a therapist who tries a novel approach with a girl afflicted with cerebral palsy. She has her become pen pals with the girl's favorite singer, Elvis Presley. And it was based on the real-life reminiscences of Lena Canada.
Yeah, that sounds like it's both an Oscar and a Razzie at the same time.
Now I kind of want to watch this, too. I bet it's on Tubi. So I thought like it was watching Christopher Reeve be not Superman was kind of fun.
I think he was trying very hard to not be Superman.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is hard because when you are super fucking hot, it's hard to just not be hot, right?
Yeah, and I did find him very hot in this. He was very rangy.
Yeah, but he was trying not to be hot, which I liked it better. Like, okay, in Superman, he's just like ridiculously beautiful.
He is.
Yeah. So in this, he's like, I mean, they have him a little bit dirtied up and all, but no, I think he's really acting. I don't want to say somebody's acting hard because that suggests that like you can see the effort, which means that they're not acting well. I just think that no, I liked his portrayal because I thought it really fit the character. Although he was really hotter than he should have been.
Yes. So also in the movie is JT Walsh, who was in Good Morning Vietnam, A Few Good Men, Hoffa. Like he's that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy.
A lot of people in this movie died tragically young. He died at 54.
Maybe
Deborah Raffin died at
Genghis
59.
Khan, like a John Wayne thing where they all got lung cancer for
something. I don't know.
shooting at the atomic test site. Like maybe that's what it is.
So yeah, it stars like there's a couple of people that you're like, it's that person. It's that person.
You know how there's usually hey, it's that guy. There is a hey, it's that gal in this.
Yes.
And it's the time bicycle.
Yeah. Lula.
What's her name? She was in every. Like, when I knew that I knew her, and when I went to look her up, like she's got one of those.
Helen Shaver.
And she's like
still alive.
Tremors too. No, she's doing a ton of directing now.
Yeah.
She's directed like every big TV show that you've been watching lately, like
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country, even like just all these like modern like current TV shows. So good for her. You shake the Morning Glory curse.
For those of you who are familiar with the classic work, The Craft, she was Grace Downs.
I've never seen The Craft. I know. I knew you were going to make that noise. It's out of character. I mean, it seems like something I totally should have seen, but I just never saw it.
Can't even believe it. So she has directed, let's see, I'm looking at her director. People are going to be like, this is the worst episode ever. We're so totally...
Dude, we didn't even do the reading for the episode.
You're so teenagers about it. Oh, she's directed 3 episodes of Station 11, which I can highly
I'm telling you, it's all this new stuff.
Yeah, Lovecraft Country, Snowpiercer, Westworld.
She's the new hotness now.
Yeah. So, and yeah, again, she was in The Craft. So
we should send her a note and see if she responds and has any comments about this film.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do that. Well, when the episode comes out, we'll tag her and
yes, she was Littlefoot's mom in The Land Before Time.
Oh, don't say no. No, you can go to hell.
So
you can go right to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
So yes, we are so rambly in this, but anyway,
Okay, so the way that the adaptation works is quite close to the book. He's come to her house. He's introduced himself in this very please, madam, way, like if you'll have me, and she's like, I ain't got much fucking choice because like I got this baby on the way and we are about to starve to death. And so he stays in the very respectfully in the barn. Like it's a very slow burn.
Yes.
There's like a competency porn aspect to it because he starts to fix up stuff around the house. Less in the book, they had like just long patches of it where like, I don't know, like if you're our age, I guess, just reading about a man fucking fixing things is the sexiest thing you've ever read in your life. Like, not being told, not being like, you don't have to say, hey, the pump doesn't work. No, the pump just gets fixed.
Oh my God, the dream. The dream.
Like, there's no emotional labor on her part. He actually takes the emotional labor off of her.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. But also, he's really good with the
He
kids.
saves her children from bees. There's car bees.
She's got this thing about bees because her previous husband, the bees didn't even kill him. Like, they killed Thomas J. The bees chased him up a tree and the tree killed him. Glenn was a dreamer. Anyway, moving on from Glenn. But you keep opinioning Glenn because we're going to come back to Glenn.
Stay away from them bees.
Well, okay, I think this is very interesting because, there's a tension in this because generally speaking, he is extremely... Obviously, he's the interloper here. He's the one who's asking for things. He, has been in prison 4 or 5 years for the murder of a sex worker, which he didn't commit, but he's got no social capital here. He does go against her wishes by doing things like, hey, I'm going to go into town and sell some eggs. And she doesn't want him to. Yeah. Or like, I'm going to go and figure out how to work these bees that your husband left because we can make money. Bees?
They don't let you bring bees in here.
But like their conflict, I think, is really realistic, and that she's like she's not going to tell him not to. She realizes that sounds crazy.
Yeah,
but she doesn't want him to. And there's this egg fight.
Yeah, she throws eggs at him when he gets into the bees,
and that's from the book, and it's good too. So and it has this great library stuff because like
so. Oh, okay.
In the book, but he goes to the local library because he doesn't know how to do bees, and he doesn't know how to do this, and he doesn't do plumbing and all this stuff. So he goes and he gets like these ag extension pamphlets from the library, and it's great.
Yes, he meets Mrs. Beasley.
I swear to God, that is like George H.W. Bush's dog, and I don't have my phone, so I can't.
Mrs. Beasley is a doll, but I think you might be thinking of Mrs. Teasley.
No,
will you let me finish a thing? No. You're very talky tonight, very talking over a person. Ooh. Mrs. Teasley is famously the principal from 90210 who would not let Donna Martin graduate.
Fuck her.
Probably on Tubi.
I'm sure it's on Tubi.
Donna Martin graduates.
But, if you want to watch Magnum P.I., you got to go to Roku TV.
It plays rent-free in my head. No, so yes, there's Mrs. Beasley, who is, of course, the old librarian because they can never be, under the age of 105. At a
bun, she's got,
At first, she's very suspicious of him, but she sees him shut down the woman who likes to wear red lipstick and dresses.
And that does move him up a few.
Yes. And I think what's interesting is that actress is like, her whole story is wild. Her name... She's got one of those that you're like, I understand why you changed your name. Her name was Nina. It's Nina Fosh is how it was pronounced. But it was Nina F-A-K. And old Nina was married to, what's his face? Oh, gosh. Actor Studio.
James Lipton?
Yes.
Will you dance for me? Do you know he has like a weird brothel... Okay, I can't remember the story now, but there's like the word brothel appears in it in France. Like, yeah, that little old man with a beard had some kind of like brothel related past.
I can see it. She was in American in Paris and the Executive Suite. She was in Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus, which is wild. That Stanley Kubrick, it always is wild to me. The Ten Commandments, that was a get. Yeah, that was a big get. So Nina Fosh,
a lot of this kind of movie does have like the one grand dame,
the elder statesman.
Well, like Star Trek always has like one real actor in it,
Yeah. So Nina Fosh was Mrs. Beasley.
But I am almost certain in the book she had a mustache. But
yeah, she did because they talked about like he was sort of like intentionally flirty with her, and her old spinster heart just loved it.
Yeah, and actually, in the book, in the end, she ends up having a slight, like, possible romance with the.
And I feel like they kind of allude to it. So, yeah, after the j'accuse, where he is, accused of killing the lady who likes to wear lipstick. Yeah,
you've jumped ahead again.
Oh God.
So, okay,
we are terrible at this today.
So actually, what she does is, she talks to him and realizes that he's up at the Dinsmore, the old Witter Dinsmore place. Old Witter Dinsmore is like 22. You know,
Crazy Ellie is what they call her.
Crazy Ellie. So and she obviously has a soft spot for this woman, and her heart clearly left over from childhood. This is really economical storytelling, by the way, because I mean in the book there's a lot of like pages given to this, but in this it's just like the people's facial expressions and stuff. It's actually
what's going to be amazing is you guys can watch the movie in less time than it takes us to talk.
I knew that was going to happen. Hold up, let me get a refill. Because that's what I need. But in general, I mean, the movie is really able to very economically put this emotional resonance in this in these scenes.
Raffin could write a Bada Stifler episode.
Absolutely. It's too bad she's dead, like everybody else who is in this movie, except for Lula.
Yeah. So
maybe she killed them all. But so what she does, but the librarian comes to the farm and says, "Hi, I just walked the fuck up here," which has got to be like 10 miles. And I would just like to say hi to you, Ellie, because like I missed. I just, I liked you when you were a kid. And also, my janitor just fucking died, so I need a new one. Do you want a job?
Yeah.
Not Ellie. What's his name? Is it Will? Oh my God, we haven't said his name the whole time. Well, Christopher Reeve, do you want a job? And
Christopher Will's like, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I do. And so he starts working for cash money, which Ellie's not. She doesn't like the town.
So yeah, and one of the cute scenes and like what really gets it kind of moving is, that baby is coming anytime now, and she finds him reading a book about childbirth, and she's like, "What is this?" And he's like, because he keeps saying, when you have the baby, we'll go to town, you go to the doctor. She's like, "I don't do that.
These last two just crawled on out of me. It was fine."
She's like, "You're gonna have to do it." And he's like, "Well," he's like, "I guess he's like, it's one thing if I'm your handyman living here,
I want you to be my handyman. Now fucking soap up, bitch, and get in the ring."
And so they do decide to get married, and there's a cute scene of like her picking out her wedding ring, and he's upset that it's so cheap, and she tells him to stop talking about her wedding ring that way.
The whole thing is like
it's very precious,
very sweet.
And then we have the sex scene, and it's
okay. We need to talk about the sex scene.
It's one of those slow.
There's not. Well, I mean, it's like oil lamps because it's Depression era
with faces. There's a lot of faces, and then there's like a slow moving hand
over a large body. Okay, so my husband's watching MacGruber a lot lately, which you would probably love it. To me, it's just like it's not that funny to me. But in the intro, it's like James Bond intros, and there's this very furry butt, lovingly like a man's like just covered in like downy hairs butt in the opening credits, and that's what I could not stop thinking about when this mysterious body part. It
was very, very round.
Was a butt with no like crack in it.
I thought it was a peck. I
think it was a back.
We don't know, but it was rounded.
It was super round. It was like a guy who was like really. He's doing like when you do cat cow for your back.
But it was. I don't think it was a back because it was very like it had the furriness to it.
Well, people used to.
Christopher Reeve don't have no hairy back.
No, people used to have hair on them.
I know that, but Christopher Reeve's not going to be like, "Hey, get my hairy back."
Well, it's the depression.
That's not how the Reeve does. He's not method acting to go be like, "Give me."
They hadn't invented Nair in the goddamn depression, Courtney.
This film wasn't filmed in the Depression.
No, this film wasn't even filmed in America.
This is Christopher Reeve you're talking about. You gonna tell me that you think that Superman was like, hey.
If that was his peck, then where was the rest of his body?
It was very strange.
It was like, okay, you know how that chicken breast is at the deli?
Yes.
It doesn't look anything like any animal's part ever, and it's been glued together out of like 18 different turkeys or whatever.
It looked like an anime boob with hair on it.
No, it wasn't even.
It was very mounded. It looked like some kind of like ancient Native American earthwork. I don't know. It was very round.
It was a back.
I don't think so. We're going to have to take like a still shot of it and make a poll because I don't think then and you know what? If this is true, then good for them because we are.
That's a commitment to realism.
If we're going to do that, then that's representation for someone with some kind of. I don't even know. I don't even think because they're so low representation. Like what the term for someone with
just a normal person who has back hair.
That was like if that was a back, that was a hunchback.
No, I think it's just that he had his head down and he was like pretending to be fucking, but he wasn't really fucking.
It was round.
Okay, well, you know how you do when you're doing the cat-cow thing?
What is he agreed. If we will move on.
He was oiled up, though, whatever it was. It was very shiny.
It was shining and had downy hair all over it. I was like, what is that?
Maybe his butt had no crack.
Maybe. Or maybe it was like just the side of the, like maybe it was like taken from like where you're just like on the like, you know.
Lensed.
The lens.
It was lensed.
Like, you know, when you do where you hold, like you make the frame with your fingers and up to your eye.
They can't see you do that.
That's what I think. I don't know.
Anyway, it was, I mean, okay, the sex in this book
in the book was hot. In this, it was weird.
But, I mean, it is of a piece with all these other things.
But what I don't understand was that we had, you know, Lula who likes lipstick. We had her naked. We
saw all her titties.
We had JT.
Oh, like there's more than two.
We had JT Walsh like showing his ass.
Yeah.
Like you know what? This movie, I came out of it knowing what JT Walsh's ass looks like. I can't tell you if I saw Christopher Reeve's back or his ass or his pec or just some dysmorphous thing. I don't know what I saw. I don't know. It's like a UFO. Like Superman's UFO. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
It honestly does kind of seem like one of those, you know, when you read about like vampires in other cultures, and in Romania, it's like a watermelon that you leave out at night and it turns into a vampire. It's like one of them things that like don't make sense to the American mind.
Yes, it's Canadian. Canadian backs to Sarah.
I mean, I do know some Canadian people. Should I call them?
I mean, it was very weird. And it, like the hand was going across it so slowly.
It's doing that thing, you know, where you have, the woman always has her hand like super flexed.
Yeah.
Like her hand is like, you know, where her fingers are like back of her palm. And she's doing that thing, but she's only touching him with like the heel of her hand and shaking it.
It's very odd.
I mean, I've had good sex, but I've never had my hand like have a stroke. But these women always do. So maybe I'm missing something.
They always have stroke hands.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was very.
So that happened. And then she has the baby. And it's actually a really good scene because, you know, it's like the kids are all like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. And he's got that like, it's quite it's affecting because this is not his biological child, but he's claiming it in a way that is not like stepping on her or anything.
Yes, it's a little girl, and she names it. Who cares?
Lizzie
Parker,
because that's his name.
Yes,
even though it's not his daughter. So I mean, it's super sweet. So what immediately happens is that World War II breaks out, and that he's about to sign up for it. And the sawmill guy who fired him at the very beginning of the thing is a piece of shit. Saws through his index finger so like that he can't be drafted. And then this whole thing happens where Lula tries to seduce him in the library. She shoves her out the door. He shoves her out the door, and then unbeknownst to Jesus Christ. Unbeknownst to him, she gets murdered, and then they come to take him away.
Yeah, and you know what? This is my same problem I had in the book. Ellie shows like 10 seconds of confusion on her face, and Will's like, "You never believed in me." Like,
I think it actually works better in the movie in a way because, I mean, like, well, just because Christopher Reeve really sold the scene.
Yeah.
And like, you know, where she goes to see him in the jail, and he's just, because in the movie, you've never heard from him the story about how his best friend betrayed him, who actually killed the sex worker back in Texas.
Yes.
And just like his face just really sells it in the scene. So like I bought it, but yeah, it was one of those things that I was so pissed in the book about because it's one of those romance novel things.
Yeah,
which I guess is also a real life thing where a man will take one goddamn clue from your and then like it's just it's a thing.
You know, Ellie gets a lot of information thrown at her at once. It's like, hey, he's like, yeah, she's been flirting with me. What? Yeah, she kissed me. What?
And he lies at the first because like he's trying to kind of protect his wife because the sheriff comes up out of nowhere and says, did you see Lula last night? And he doesn't realize that she's dead. Because if he had, now the sheriff should have realized if he had killed her, he would have acted differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so we have the courtroom scene.
And this is truly upsetting.
Yeah. So like we said, we're not going to hash it out. There's a part where the prosecution, it basically is questioning Ellie's entire sexual existence. And
his like thesis is that, of course, Will was cheating on her this whole time with Lula because she was when he met her, she was pregnant with her dead husband's child. And B, she's only had, well, she's had 2 husbands now, which is 2, like, one more than most people. Like, what the fuck? It was all like, well, I mean, do you really think you can satisfy a man like that who's consorted with whores? And also, you know, your previous husband was just the ice delivery guy. A, do you think you satisfied him? B, do you think you learned enough from fucking the ice delivery guy? The whole thing was ghastly.
Hilarious about that whole Canadian maid scene was that...
Oh, none of these people have Southern accents, which is funny. It's in one of those courtrooms where everybody's sweating, but nobody's talking like a Southerner.
Let me finish that. Fire? Like, what got me was that this is supposed to be right before World War II, or right at the start of it. And that the idea that Ellie Dinsmore, who had a husband that had a job, an actual job during, like, the Depression, would have been like, oh, he was just a nice delivery man. Like,
all the jurors are like, how do I get that fucking job? He died? Is it open?
So...
Well, and then, like, hilariously, this is a Southern courtroom scene in the way that Hollywood loves to do a Southern courtroom scene. And the funny thing is that they do it in the exact same way now. At least in 1945, they didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
But so everybody's sweating and dabbing themselves, but nobody has a Southern accent.
No.
And nobody's even attempting. Well, thank you for not attempting.
Yes, that's true. I would rather you not attempt it than to do one badly.
But yeah, there's this enormously objectionable, like, it's what even is that?
It was weird.
Yeah, this calling into question essentially like the sexual prowess of somebody's
and everybody's just
lawfully
like,
married wife.
Like, okay.
Like, I can promise you, in 1945, the entire jury would have been like, okay, fuck that guy. I don't care what he did. Fuck that guy.
Hilarious.
Because they'd even think about their own wives.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah.
So things are looking bleak until we meet these 2 old timers that
sit on the bench every day, so you know they know what's going on.
Yeah, but they're also like the town watchmen who are like, we make sure everybody turns their lights out.
Yeah,
so
they got
Japanese
like
don't bomb us.
Oh shit! I know what they were called in Britain, but I don't know what they're called here. You know, they wouldn't have a blackout, but you know what it is.
Yeah.
Like civil whatever, civil patrol. But like the great thing that is more in the book, but did come out here, is that Ellie had to come out of her house and had to like leave her recluseness to save Will on this.
Yeah.
So first, what she does, and this is really told very economically, but really well. We have found out that like she was a bastard.
Yeah.
I guess you're not supposed to. She was her mother was not married when she got pregnant with Ellie, and her father was a minister. Ellie's mother's father was a minister, and kept them locked up in a house with the shades drawn, like until his daughter died. I guess she went insane and died, and then like until he died, Ellie grew up like locked in a house.
Yeah.
So she goes into town. She still owns the house. And she walks into the house of this realtor. And this realtor is just like blithely unaware. And I think fucking rooking her too, by the way. And she walks into this house and she's like, it's smaller than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And she's like, doing the blinds up and stuff. And it's a really good scene. I just thought it was like just very... a way that a film can do something that a book does very well, but has to do in a lot of pages, just like very quickly. Yeah. So she goes in and she walks into that house and she sells that house. So she has to overcome some of her past trauma to save Will. But what it doesn't really show you is that she also had to go into town and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And bribe them with honey and eggs.
Yes.
And kind of do like an investigation.
Yeah. So the lawyer is able to suss everything out. The guy confesses. They have a big reunion. It's great. So we still have to do questions,
Well, I think, but first we should talk about why exactly does this movie feel like a made-for-TV movie?
It's got that Canadian lens.
It does. I think it's also
got the
music.
It's got that wind calls the heart lens. Like, y'all know that filter. It's the wind calls the heart filter.
It just feels cheap. It doesn't feel cheap in a lot of ways. Like there's nothing that you can point to and say that's the cheap part. But the music is super corny.
Yeah.
Because like the acting I thought was great. I mean, I was really in it. I thought that I was going to be making fun of this movie, but I was in it to win it. This movie made $26,000.
I don't know. It was very, yeah.
I mean, it was reviewed in the New York Times and Variety and stuff, and like 2 really mixed reviews, which I thought was interesting. But but it looks. Your whole body will be saying made for TV the whole time you're watching this. So I recommend that you watch it on Tubi so that you can get that commercial experience.
Oh, Tubi. Yeah, it was it had that weird soft filter thing.
Yeah, like not like a soap opera because that's like too brightly lit, like too lit from everywhere. But
Again, it's that Canadian When Calls the Heart filter. That one that's like they got that weird like sun dappled thing going on or something.
A lot of medium shots. Yeah. But it doesn't deserve that, honestly.
No.
I feel really bad for it that it only made $26,000.
It was a cute movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I've seen movies that made a lot more money than that I enjoyed less. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, absolutely. When I think of things that... I saw Wild Wild West in the theater, and we actually all got our money back because the fire alarm went off, and we all had to leave through the emergency exit, and then came back, and they finished the movie up. And I got my money back for seeing that movie, and I still think I paid too much to see that movie.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yes, it was. So I would have rather seen Morning Glory.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we want to do these questions?
We do. We got to do them quick, though, because this is a rambling episode.
Jesus Christ. Well, we did not do the reading.
We did not. Like, we are like Bill and Ted, but less charming, just making shit up on the fly.
Yeah. We did not meet Joan of Arc. We just watched something on Tubi.
Exactly. All right. Big dick energy or big dick energy?
I thought that he was really, really great.
I mean, he's Christopher Reeve. He's fucking Superman.
I kind of wish that we had gotten it was only 90 minutes. They could have done a 2-hour movie and given us his experiences in the Marines, because I kind of feel like he didn't get a chance to so much come in his own.
Yeah. I still don't know if it was his butt or his back, but he was hot.
It probably wasn't his.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder, in Canada, do they have like a flesh monster?
Canadian.
That's like a pillow, only it's,
It's
warm.
a Yeti. It's just a Yeti.
No, I'm like, it doesn't have a head or legs or arms. It's just sort of like a couch pillow, but they put it in all the movies.
Interesting. So, yeah, he's super hot in this. Would you talk shit with her about the heroine?
I loved her.
I really liked her in this. She was great. Bechdel to bitch. Like, it's weird because you have the great relationship between Ellie and the old lady, but also that old lady is past, sexual age, so it's okay.
Also, we didn't get as much of that as we do in the book. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 90 minutes. What
Yeah.
do? But there's the Lula issue.
Yeah, it's basically the Susan problem that we, go in on hard in the episode
So
about
you should
this book.
totally listen to our episode on that,
Yeah.
because we go in a lot about that.
And probably in a more cogent way than
I think we got real drunk for that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Really drunk.
Woo!
Because we told some stories
We
on that
did.
about being thought that we were. Oh shit! I think I remember a story I told on that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's yeah.
Oh man, and my mama actually does listen to some of these now. Yeah. Well, I don't think she knew that dude wasn't shit anyway.
Yeah.
All right. When it comes to consent, is this book more Robin Thicke or Marvin Gaye?
Oh, it's weird because, like we said, Lula notwithstanding, there is in this movie we find out that Lula has been killed while being sexually assaulted, and then we also have the sex worker that's been killed. Between our two main characters, it's obviously consensual, but this is the way that
so consensual because he's very concerned about her being afraid of him.
Yes, but the way that this is treated, like our other characters, is
you can't forget it. You can't just know.
Yeah,
it's Lula is murdered and assaulted
and nobody cares.
A plot reason.
Yeah, and nobody cares.
Like to introduce conflict, and it doesn't even need conflict.
No, they didn't need conflict.
They had their own internal conflict.
Right,
it's fine.
My mama would have loved this movie. Can I
ask the question?
Well, you're gonna put
begging the question.
Let's see if you remember to say movie and not book.
How badly are you judging your mama for reading this movie?
There you go. My mama and I would have watched the hell out of this movie.
I think that I would have thought, and probably everybody would have thought it was too slow had I not already had an attachment.
Yeah, I think my grandma would have wanted it to be slightly hornier.
Yeah, and then she was like, "What is that? Is that his butt?"
We would have talked about it You're not leaving.
No, I want to talk about what Scarlett Johansson be in this movie. There were some black people in the crowd scenes.
Yeah.
Which, I was really surprised.
Yeah.
In a period film made in the 90s, they put some people of color on the street scenes. The book was interesting that way because they had some African-American soldiers saying goodbye and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then we talked about the census districts and stuff and how that part of Georgia actually has never had like a ton of the same way that upstate South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a whole thing in our previous podcast. But I was really happy to see that, even though I'm sad that they didn't get speaking roles or anything,
Right.
but that they like did not forget that people were black in the 40s.
Exactly.
So
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good question and good point.
you're not leaving the house looking like that.
She's always just in a little like,
Apron involved thing.
yeah.
Even when other people, oh no, like Lula has actually a pretty great underwear situation.
Yes.
When you
Oh,
first see her
Lula.
and she takes her, like, she has one of those, like, kind of
Silky.
teddy things
Yes.
going on.
I
Like, when you
love
first
Lula.
see her.
Lovely.
And then you see her boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are boobs in this movie. And possibly boobs on Secret Story. We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know whose boobs are.
No, they could be
What
somebody's
that
boobs. Which your 12-year-old self have dog-eared any time markers.
Again, there were boobs. There was a
Yes.
butt.
Yes.
And then we have that one thing that we don't know what it was. We have no idea. So what do you like? Would you like what pairs nicely with a dumpster fire?
It's got to be like a homemade wine, like a blackberry wine, or
I think it's mead because there's so much fucking honey.
there is so much fucking honey, but I know you don't like a mead.
I do not like a mead. And then should a person in the 21st century watch this movie?
You should watch this movie just to see that, like, hey, at one point they made like a really slow burn romance movie, and
Yeah.
then you should turn it off when Lula dies because you don't want to watch that courtroom scene. It's
No,
gonna bother you.
once you see the hairy mound, just turn it off.
Harry Mound, turn around.
So this has been our half-assed episode of Bodice Tipplers. I'm not even going to put our Patreon and stuff on this because
Well, you should obviously give us money.
I mean, you know what? We should probably pay you guys for this episode because woof.
What? This episode is amazing. Give me some more of that wine, please.
I got more of that. But no, I think, yeah. It was a fun movie to watch. If you guys have listened to us before and know that we are not, I mean, we're always a disaster, but not usually this much of a disaster. You can follow us on Twitter at @BTipplers. You can follow us Facebook, Bodice Tipplers, Instagram, Bodice Tipplers, BodiceTipplers.com. And we have a Patreon that please don't take money away from our Patreon is patreon.com/Bodice Tipplers. And we would like to, again, thank our Patreons because we have been playing with our new fancy mic setup. We're still popping our P's. So we're going to get some, because we have fancy stuff now, we actually have to buy things to make us not pah.
Like
So-
the thing that looks like pantyhose over
Yes,
like a
so-
drain pipe. Yeah, we had to buy one of
But,
those.
you know, that would not be possible without our patrons. So thank you guys very much for your support. If you like us okay and don't want to throw money at us, I completely understand. But you like us enough, you can, you know, rate, review, like, subscribe on anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Please don't do like the guy just did. And for our YouTube, just review us with a yawning face.
You know what? Absolutely do that. I love those though.
You know what we should do next? The next time we don't feel like reading a book, we need to watch the movie For Message from Nam.
Oh God, we do. We do need to watch that one. Yeah, so you guys, I promise February we will actually read both books, and hope everybody is enjoying their January, February malaise, and we will see you next time.
Bodice Tipplers is part of the Frolic Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.